It's time someone says this out loud, and I'm going to be the one to do it. The wave of online criticism aimed at Chicago Bears quarterback Caleb Williams has gone completely off the rails. From social media threads to TV debates, it seems like Caleb has become the NFL's favorite punching bag, and the season hasn't even officially started yet. This isn't your typical rookie quarterback story. Williams, the number one overall pick just a year ago, is already being discussed by some as if his career is hanging by a thread. The most surprising thing? Some of the sharpest criticism is coming from analysts who were once in his corner. Take, for example, the sudden turn by media veteran Colin Cowherd. Not long ago, Cowherd was one of Caleb's loudest supporters, backing him through college and defending him after a challenging rookie season. Fast forward to now, and his tone has changed dramatically. On his show and podcast, he's floated the idea that the Bears could, or should, consider trading Caleb if the next two seasons don't go well. Now, technically, yes, if a quarterback struggles for years, a team might trade him. That's football reality. But why is that even a talking point now? Caleb hasn't even taken a preseason snap this year. He's coming off a season where he showed promise despite difficult circumstances, including one of the worst defensive coaching situations in recent Bears history. The front office and new coaching staff have doubled down on supporting him, upgrading the offensive line, adding weapons, and hiring Ben Johnson to run the offense. So why are we already discussing a potential trade? It's not like he had a historically bad rookie year. In fact, he was decent, not perfect, but far from a bust. And yet, here we are talking about him as though he's already failed. Cowherd's criticism didn't stop there. He took issue with Caleb sitting out the first preseason game, calling it a sign the team might be protecting him from public scrutiny. But here's the reality. The Bears' decision had nothing to do with hiding their quarterback. Johnson made it clear the starters would get more meaningful reps in joint practices and controlled settings rather than in a vanilla preseason game where the risk of injury outweighs the reward. This isn't unusual in today's NFL. Many teams limit their starters' preseason snaps to focus on structured practice reps. Yet, the narrative being spun is that Caleb is somehow being shielded because he's not ready. That's not just inaccurate, it's misleading. What makes the current criticism of Caleb Williams so frustrating for Bears fans is how selective it is. Other young quarterbacks have made mistakes in preseason games or struggled early in training camp without the same media firestorm. Take Drake May, for example. Drafted just 2 spots after Caleb, May's first preseason outing included an interception and a few shaky throws, including one bizarre backward pass to the defense. And yet, his performance barely made headlines compared to Caleb not playing at all. The double standard is glaring. This points to a larger truth. Caleb Williams isn't just a quarterback, he's a storyline. Every action, every quote, every missed throw in practice gets magnified. If he sits out a game, it's a conspiracy. If he makes a mistake, it's a headline. Some of this dates back to the early days of training camp. Reports describe the Bears' offense as choppy in its first few practices under Ben Johnson, which is completely normal for a new system. Offenses typically start slower than defenses in camp, and yet 2 days into padded practices, some analysts were already suggesting Caleb might not be the star he was hyped up to be. This is where the problem lies. Instead of allowing a young quarterback to develop naturally, the narrative machine is constantly trying to fast forward to the ending. Either he's the next franchise savior or a certified bust. Now, let's address the most outrageous comparison so far. Sports commentator Jason McIntyre suggesting that Caleb has shades of Johnny Manziel in him. The reasoning? If Caleb becomes too quick to scramble when things break down, he might flame out like Manziel. That comparison collapses under even the slightest scrutiny. Manziel's downfall wasn't about scrambling, it was about off-field issues, substance abuse, and a lack of commitment to football. Caleb, by all accounts, is committed, competitive, and deeply invested in improving his game. Yes, he prefers to extend plays and work outside the pocket, but that's part of his skill set. And unlike Manziel, Caleb has NFL caliber size, a stronger arm, and a willingness to work within a system. The reality is this: Caleb Williams has areas to improve, just like any young quarterback. He sometimes holds the ball too long, and at times he escapes the pocket too quickly. But he also inherited a chaotic rookie situation, a broken offensive line, a fired offensive coordinator midseason, and a head coach who was clearly in over his head. Before we dive into the most important part of this discussion, let me ask you, are you ready for a season full of honest, passionate Bears coverage? Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and turn on all notifications so you never miss a single update. Whether it's breaking news, in-depth analysis, or bold predictions, we've got you covered all season long. And hey, drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you still believe in Caleb Williams? Type B for believe or D for don't. I'll be reading and replying to as many as I can. Now, back to the story. The Bears didn't bring in Ben Johnson by accident. He's one of the NFL's most respected offensive minds, and when asked why he chose Chicago over other opportunities, he pointed directly to Caleb Williams. Johnson believes in his quarterback's potential, and the front office has built an offense designed to maximize his strengths. An anonymous defensive coordinator recently told The Athletic that Caleb is very talented, and that while Johnson's offense is traditionally more under center, Caleb's comfort in shotgun formations will likely lead to a hybrid approach. The Bears, he predicted, will find a happy medium that plays to both the coaches and quarterback strengths. That kind of thoughtful evaluation is what's missing in most national discussions about Caleb. Yes, there are things on tape that need fixing. Yes, the preseason is an opportunity to work on timing and chemistry. But no, sitting out the first preseason game is not a sign of doom. The truth is that NFL preseason games are becoming less and less meaningful for starters. Many teams prefer to get their work done in joint practices, where the environment is controlled, the reps are more situationally focused, and the risk of injury is lower. The Bears are no different. If Caleb comes out in week 1 and struggles, that's fair game for criticism. If, by midseason, the offense is stagnant and he's not progressing, then the conversation changes. But to push trade scenarios and label him a bust before his second season even begins? That's not analysis, that's noise. Let's not forget that several great quarterbacks started slower than Caleb. Jared Goff looked lost as a rookie and is now one of the league's most efficient passers. Peyton Manning led the NFL in interceptions his first year and went on to become a Hall of Famer. Development is rarely linear. For the Bears, the 2025 season is about growth. It's about seeing Caleb take steps forward, even if every game isn't perfect. The team around him is stronger, the coaching staff is more capable, and the front office has made its investment clear. If he fails now, it will be on him, but everything is in place for him to succeed. So here's the bottom line. It's too early to panic, and it's way too early to talk trades. Caleb Williams is still the most talented quarterback the Bears have had in decades, and he deserves the chance to prove it on the field, not in a preseason box score or a training camp soundbite. Chicago has waited a long time for a quarterback with this kind of upside. Let's give him the one thing this city rarely gives its QBs: time. Bear down.